I shouldn't be wasting my precious time on rubbish like this, but it will lead into a greater lesson on stupidity and relying on so-called experts to do your critical thinking for you. And that the title of scientist is pretty vague and loosely bandied about and somewhat dubious. And also the best, or should I say the worst example of the dumb leading the dumb into belligerence I've ever seen. Anyway, this penguin nonsense in Rockingham has gone on long enough and has now gotten to the point of ridiculousness. If anyone cares to actually delve into this subject, they will see that the so-called problem of a dwindling population of fairy penguins actually coincides with these so-called scientists and every other involved half-wit now calling them little penguins. Anyone who has grown up in Rockingham in the last 168 years before 2016, and for those that have still got an intact working memory, not yet fried by looking at smart screens or vaccines, has of course grown up with fairy penguins, not little penguins. And those using this new designation for the same penguin is only showing they are a blow-in to our district, or they never gave a stuff about the fairy penguins until it became fashionable or useful for a political agenda, such as non-existent large-scale changing of the weather. And of course, what is the underlying theme or cause for this miraculous and apparently urgent and dire reduction in the fairy penguin population? It's the much heard but not yet ever felt, experienced or recorded by any normal people. And that is the boogeyman that is climate change. Not dissimilar to COVID, it miraculously disappears when all modes of media are switched off. No TV, no radio, no internet, no newspapers, no funding hungry scientists equals no climate change. Why people let their minds be swept away with this nonsense and start practicing it like the gospel can only be compared with those in a cult. And you would have made excellent Nazis. Don't question your own doubts. Stop critically thinking and just go along with the crowd. That is known as an Abilene paradox, which is a collective fallacy in which a group of people collectively decide on a course of action that is counter to the preferences of most or all individuals in the group, while each individual believes it to be aligned with the preferences of most of the others. The statistics that this half-baked group are using don't tell the full story, nor do they want you to know the full story. Let's just say that these current population numbers are true. They show a decline from what was an all-time high between 2006 and 2008. Does this not show that the population varies? It is shown to go up and it is shown to go down. But if there were a graph available for the last 100 years, it would be more or less stable. It was estimated in 1946 to be 1,000 penguins on the island, not including the surrounding islands. And stable is exactly how the worldwide population is officially classed as, and they are also classed as LC, which stands for of least concern, as a threatened species, with estimates ranging between 500,000 and 1.2 million of these animals. And Penguin Island and the Shoalwater Marine Park doesn't even crack a mention among the main Australian important bird areas, so it's important not to try and puff up Penguin Island to be something it's not, and leave them alone as the people in Old Rockingham used to. And why is everyone assuming that the decline means those penguins are dead? And let's be honest, that's exactly what you've assumed. Where's the leg tags? Were the bodies ever discovered or recovered? And if there was some large-scale weather-changing phenomenon, then they would be smart enough to move to where conditions best suited them. They wouldn't just stay there and die, which is the rubbish you are all swallowing. Did it ever occur to you people that these penguins, who are not physically enclosed nor barred in any way from leaving Penguin Island, and who also have the ability to leave by swimming wherever they like, whenever they like, just may have moved somewhere else? Slightly less annoying than Penguin Island, perhaps? Let's see what could be annoying them. Tourists, poorly raised and misbehaved locals, dickhead researchers constantly torturing them by capturing, tagging and measuring, etc. And now they have to contend with do-gooder, idealistic middle-aged women who think they must intervene with nature to save animals based on garbage research. They have made it this far without you. So you do the math, leave them alone, and please leave the rest of us alone and get another hobby. Now getting back to the best case of the dumb leading the dumb into belligerence I've ever seen. I'll follow up with a video on how ridiculous a notion this is to have a councillor who is legally a ward of the state leading a protest of a bunch of other wards of the state from the council wards to beg for the nanny government to give them what they want. And you wonder why they class us as children when you protest to them and ask for something from them at the same time. Whilst the district council is insolvent and there is increasing homelessness caused by ridiculous levels of unnecessary immigration solely to prop up their dying reserve currency. Priorities, people, priorities.